buckle up, because it's going to be a long ride. It's going to be a wild ride. Nobody cares, but we're going to tell you anyways. This is Popcorn Chats.
I did not know that was Moscato.
My fave.
Soup's sugary.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like a literal garbage. Like,
Wow.
You look like
Al
from
turn.
Toy Story.
It is my turn.
I look like Al from Toy Story, bitch. What
When
the
you had
fuck?
your hair all like messed up in the front, it reminded me of no, because it was like piecier in the front. It reminded me of Al from Toy Story.
The fucking fat ass chicken man.
Just the
Thank
hair
you.
for a moment. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Popcorn Chats. I'm McKay.
And I'm Katie.
And this week we are back with a fairly new movie. What are you laughing about? I haven't even started, really.
I know, I'm sorry. It's just so delayed. And I love, like, watching you listen to what I'm saying because you're just, like, paused listening to me and it's so cute.
Oh, shoot. It is bad. And I feel like I'm glad I haven't seen any comments yet of anyone being like, she, like, in terms of me, like, McKay always cuts off Katie. When it's like, I swear to God, I'm not cutting you off on purpose. It's that we're so delayed that I think that you're done talking. So then I talk, and then your words come through like 3 seconds later, and I'm like, oh, she wasn't done.
We cannot do, like, just Zoom audio ever again. Like, because that, whatever
that was
episode
bad.
that was, where we were just, like, being drunk, it was real rough. It was real rough. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, Michaela's lips never line up. I'm trying my fucking best, but, like, it's real tough, and you would have a hard time with it, too.
Yeah, it is what it fucking is, y'all. I don't, until I get out of this place, I guess, or get my Wi-Fi gets it together. I don't know why it started being bad, like, just over the past few weeks. You know, like, it wasn't like that when we first were recording from a distance, like, when you were in Green Bay still living and stuff. Like, we never had issues with that when I was in here, so I don't know what the fuck the problem is.
Weird.
But if y'all have ever been here for my internet saga, there's not an option to get a new that's literally not a choice. It's just, we're dealing. Anyways, we are back today with a new-ish movie. It came out over the past, like, month or so, I want to say. I don't remember the exact release date, but we're talking about Deep Water on Hulu, with 2 stars leading it, Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. Yeah, a new psychological thriller to be discussing today.
Which we love. We love psychological thrillers on here. But I would say the main reason why we watched this film was for a certain someone who we both admire.
His name might be Jacob.
I may have audibly, like, moaned when he appeared on screen. He looked so fucking good in this movie. Did he not?
He did.
He looked so fire.
He did. Mm-hmm.
He is so fine.
1,000%.
He knows how to dress. I feel like he's just the type of man that male clothing is made for. Like, it just, the way it hangs on him.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like an insane person, but I do work in a clothing store, and I love men's clothing. Like, I just find it very fun, and men's fashion, and I feel like Jacob Elordi is the epitome of, like, modern men's fashion. And I just, I love a man who knows how to dress. I love a man who knows what he's doing with his hair. And Jacob Elordi just has the whole mother effing package.
He really does. He really does. And in this, it was interesting to see him be a little more casual because he can't, like, he doesn't have that sort of, like, vibe in Euphoria. But in this, he could just kind of have that kind of, like, laid back, like, what you would maybe think he would be more like in real life.
Right.
And it was so enjoyable. Just chef's fucking kiss. Yeah, he was one of the main reasons we wanted to watch this movie. That, and it was all over Hulu. Like, it was showing in all of their trailers and stuff. Like, as much as they could promote it, they did, I feel like. And also Sam Levinson wrote it. Or, like, co-wrote it. So, we've talked about pretty much, like, a lot of Sam Levinson's other work, like Euphoria and Malcolm and Marie and such. So, might as well add to that list.
Yeah. definitely right up Sam Levinson's fucking alley with this psychotic male behavior. But we can get into that. It was adapted from a book. Yeah. It's not like it came directly from his mind, but it definitely seems like a piece of literature that Sam Levinson would read. A, just read and be like, I want to read this book. And then B, be like, I'm going to adapt that into a screenplay because I love men who are psychos.
All right, check in.
Yeah, check in. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Clearly the internet moving out here did nothing. I'm doing good. My nephew turned 2 over the weekends. Can you not get your feet off of the laptop? So I made his birthday cake. It was cute. Made him a train because he's really into trains. And that was and that was fun. And yeah, now I'm just basically trying to get through the week because I'm going on vacation at the end of the week, and I'm just very excited for that. And I just need to get through now 3 more days of work, which I'm just ready. I need a break, and I'm excited for it.
Mm-hmm. Well deserved break.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. So, how have you been? What's new?
Not a whole lot's new. I've been down pretty bad, honestly, ever since my girlfriend left, Courtney Bean. I have just kind of been in a funk. Really sad.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just not an overall, like, happy person. Like, I don't think my mental health has ever been good. And I'm the type of person that's like, yeah, okay, when I get this, then I'll be happy. And so I've always kind of been like, once I move to LA, it'll be good. And like, I was talking to my cousin, I was in the closet for so long, and like when I came out, it kind of felt like getting over like a huge hump and like, okay, well now I'm just gonna be happy all the time. And that's just not how it is at all. I love LA so much. I just wish like my friends and family were here because I miss you and my family and Corinne so much, but it's fine. I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. I work too fucking hard for too fucking little. Same fucking old. So annoying. So stupid. Fuck capitalism. Yeah. I'm literally like ready to burn this motherfucker down. If there's like a strike, if there's a protest, if there's something, let me know. I will be there with my pitchfork. Like, I'm ready to eat the rich. This whole thing, I'm down. Sign me up. Literally, this fucking, oh my God, this fucking lady the other day was screaming, crying through the store, like hysterical, like, my baby, I've lost my baby, Kylie, just like screaming. Obviously understandable, okay, if you lose your fucking kid, like that's scary. And I saw this lady with her kid earlier on. So I was like, I know what the kid looks like. So I'm going to like look around for the kid because I feel bad. And she's like running out of the store, running through the mall. Just, I hear her screaming. She's down, going to Nordstrom Rack, going into Old Navy, baby. She is Kylie. Like, how far could a 2-year-old get, really? But it is scary. Okay, I'm not trying to like downplay it. Somebody could have grabbed her. It's a super busy mall, super like crazy. Obviously, it's Los Angeles, so like people are sketchy. People are sketchy everywhere, but I mean, I'd be scared too. Bleeding hearts of the world, you fucking night. So I go and look for this child, for this mom. I find her just chilling in some like racks of clothes. And I'm like, hey.
In your store?
Yeah, she was still in H&M. I'm like, hey, kiddo, let's go find your mom because she's looking for you. And I like put my hand out. She grabbed my hand right away. I was like, you really need to learn stranger danger, but that's a lesson for another day. So I was like holding her hand, walking with her. She was taking way too fucking long. So I just picked her up and brought her to the mom. Well, I brought her to the mom had like friends with her too, and they were looking for her too, and they're like, oh my God, there she is. I didn't even get a thank you. Long story short, they grabbed her from me very forcefully, which I get it, like heat of the moment, whatever, but like I didn't even get a thank you, and that just rubbed me the wrong way. And maybe I'm being too bitter about this. Customer service is quite literally hell on earth. Hell on earth. And that's kind of fucked up to say because people are actually experiencing hell on earth in certain situations. But like, it is so demeaning and so demoralizing to be treated like someone's personal servant, personal assistant, personal shopping assistant. It's just awful every fucking day. And these people, like, I literally found your child for you. That is going above and beyond. And I don't even get a thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting like, oh, thank you. Oh my God. And like, tip me $50. That'd be great. Didn't happen. Wasn't expecting it. But a measly little thank you so much.
Just a thanks.
A thank you so much. Would have been nice. So fuck you if you're listening. And keep better track of your child because she's a runner. And she doesn't have stranger danger. She's a fucking flight risk, and she doesn't know what a stranger is. So you got
maybe she needs a
really bad situation.
Maybe she needs one of those backpack leashes.
Literally, everybody has those here for their kids.
I think I used to be like, oh my God, I would never do that for my child. But literally now, I don't give a fuck. I think I would. Because it's like, I'm not trying to carry this child around the whole time. And also, they're hard to keep track of. So I think I would do it. Also, just because, like, do I care that it's inhumane to children?
It's not inhumane. No. Like, they're fine.
I mean, no, but it's kind of like, you know, you put, like, dogs on a leash. But, I mean, I have more respect for dogs than I do for children, so.
I mean, dogs don't know what's good for them, and they will run away and maybe get hit by a car. Same with kids. Like, there's no difference.
Except that I like dogs better.
I saw Steve Urkel the other day, the guy who played Steve Urkel.
Really? Wow.
I don't know the actor's name, but I saw him. I was like,
Lilas, come on the pod. That's just our response for every person who says, come on the pod.
Literally. Come on down.
Shit. Are we ready to jump into this, Shia?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Okay, let's start out with just a general question of just like a brief you know, like, did you like the movie?
I mean, I enjoyed myself while watching. Am I itching to go back and rewatch? No. As far as like psychological thrillers go, it wasn't giving. It was no like Us. It was no time lapse. Gone Girl, correct. Overall, and I'm sure I'll come back to this point, but like I was waiting for a big twist or a big reveal, and nothing really ever was twisty or revealed, and like your first impression of everyone kind of just stayed consistent and no one really changed.
I don't think I'd even like classify this as like a psychological thriller. I just think it's more like a dark drama. Because, like, you're right, there was no twist, and there was nothing, like, shocking about anyone that was revealed, because even though it could be, like, shocking that then you find out that Ben Affleck is killing these men, but, like, you kind of knew that. I mean, you didn't know that, but you knew that from the beginning.
He comes right out and says it at the beginning, so it's like, what's the catch? Yeah. What's the twist? And then it's just like, oh, no, he did kill everyone.
What I would have been interested in, if like, this is what I was kind of waiting for in the twist, was then to find out that maybe Ana de Armas's character was like picking out these men and was like in on the killing, you know, and was like purposely seducing them so that way she could have her affair, and like it was part of their deal that like she could fuck whoever she wanted, but then he got to kill them to satisfy like her need to cheat and like have these affairs, and it's like his need to kill like are both being met. Like I feel like that would have been a twist.
I don't know that is completely like not what's going on. I think that's part of what's going on. The only like psychologically thrilling aspect of this film is like the psychological mind games that this couple is playing together. You know, it's kind of that classic like, oh, we're outwardly like a normal wealthy couple, but we do some sick and fucked up shit, and people have their assumptions about us, and then this is what's really going on. But even that, it was like the assumptions are correct. Everybody's assumptions about them are correct. Like, people don't think Ben Affleck's character is a killer.
I liked it. Like you said, I enjoyed myself while watching it. I'm glad I watched it, but I will probably never rewatch it. I'm good with the one watch.
Another thing, I feel like this could easily be another episode of like what we would do differently, like how we did with Passengers, because it really does feel like there are so many other possibilities to take this. And I know that it was like based on a book and you got to stick to the source material, whatever. Like I thought that Jacob Elordi's character was going to be a bigger part of this. And I kind of thought that he was kind of the B storyline of this and like a bigger character. And I thought it was going to be like she starts like doing the affair with him. He makes threats. He starts threatening him like he was to that first Joel, that blonde guy.
Yeah.
But then Jacob Elordi ends up being like crazier and like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then they both like have to run for their lives. And then it like brings their marriage. It heals their marriage because they like have to save each other.
Yeah, I definitely thought he was going to be a bigger character in this. Not just because of, like, his name and to, like, have a larger character, but just because it felt like the story needed someone to stick around and foil the marriage a little bit more than they did. Because even then, like, the college friend, ex-boyfriend, whatever that came around, he got more screen time, but I still think, like, again, he was so quickly extinguished from the plot. And I did look up, because I was curious if this was based on a book or something, because as we've talked about before frequently, that there's not a lot of original stories, and I was curious if this was one of them, and it's not. And the ending of the book was different, but now I can't remember. I looked up like the synopsis of the book. It's from like 1927 or something. Like it's a really old book written by I can't even remember the author's name now, but I'm pretty sure it was a woman. It ended differently than how this ended. But now I can't remember how that was. But do we want to do standout star and standout scene?
Sure.
Oh, well, hold on, because I'm looking this up. So I just thought we could fill in time.
Oh, well, I can say my standout star then.
Yeah.
My standout star, besides Jacob Elordi, I mean, he, like, didn't really have many lines, so I don't think I can, like, really choose him, but I loved looking at him on screen. My standout star was Ana de Armas. I find her so incredibly attractive, beautiful, an amazing actress, and I thought she really served in this role, and she carried the film on her back. Just because Ben Affleck, like, obviously I can acknowledge he's a talented actor. I'm not a big fan of his, but this character in particular is, like, very stoic and emotionless, and she really, like, brought the emotion and the heat and the punch.
I totally agree. The first movie that I ever saw her in was War Dogs, where she played Miles Teller's wife, where I was like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Because, I love that man. Even, once again, I think, like, kind of a bit of a problematic dude, but I can't help but just look past all the red flags and be like, I love you. But anyways, that was the first movie that I ever saw her in, and it was like a small role in that film, but I remember watching it and being like, oh, I really like her, and then like looking up to see if she was in anything else, and she wasn't really at the time. And then like as more things have come out that she's been in, like everything that she's been in, I've really, really enjoyed her. And I think that I think she just played her character well and was like that mysterious, sexy kind of woman that she was supposed to be. Where Ben Affleck was just kind of like, I don't know, I just don't really like him a lot. Like, I loved him in Gone Girl, but I just don't really think there have been that many other roles that I've seen him in that I enjoy him. Like you said, I can acknowledge that he's talented, obviously. But in this, once again, I'm just like, you're just kind of like a big blob on screen, where she was just so dynamic. I never knew what was going to come out of her mouth, which I thought was like interesting. Like she kept me on my toes, where I think it maybe should have been more that Ben Affleck was, but.
And like at the beginning, you know, when she's looking so stunning on the stairs and he comes home from the bike ride and is like, what? You know, it's seemingly like he's kind of indifferent towards her and just one of those men that's like, I'm not attracted to my wife anymore, even though she's literally a 12 out of 10. Like she is so fine. And her and Jacob Elordi, y'all do you. Like, go get you some. Attractive people deserve each other. But anyways.
Attractive people do deserve each other.
That might be problematic to say. Yeah, I was like, okay, so what's the twist gonna be like? And I get it. Like, yeah, she's kind of being rude of, like, having these men around and, like, kissing them in front of their friends. Like, yeah, that's fucked up. He's not really doing anything about it, though. He's being indifferent the entire film. And then he just, like, snaps and kills these men. And that's really the whole thing. But I'm just like, fuck you, dude, for being indifferent towards that bod. She is so fire.
Yeah.
The part where she tells him to bite her ass. I watched this with Shelby. And Shelby was like, ew. And I was like, yeah, so gross. But I was like, I would totally bite that ass.
But like, actually, that was really hot.
Yeah.
Point blank.
When I've been with guys who like kiss my butt and like bite it, and I'm just like, that's weird. Why are you doing that? And then since I've been with women and come out, I'm like, oh, that I get that now.
It's hot. Like how you said how he's indifferent. I kept on waiting for him to show like some sense of rage. Like even when he killed the one dude and we saw him throw the rock at him, like the throw was aggressive, but his face still was like kind of blanked out from any expression. And obviously I think that's on purpose. I think it's supposed to be like that this dude is so like masked under this like calm veneer on the outside that he lets everyone else see to be like, oh yeah, he's normal, whatever. It was so like unsettling that we never saw any hint of like rage from him really. And if I was her, it's like, dude, maybe if you just showed a little bit of like jealousy to her rather than just like making these men disappear, you might not be having this issue as much. You know, I think she's acting out for attention.
Or feel something, like everything, you know, not even just like with his relationship, but like the fact that he invented the computer chip that like is in drones that like kills people.
Okay, standout scene. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go?
You go.
So, I mean, it's kind of like a cliche scene, but really, truly, it is the one that has stuck with me the most. I think because I was just like, this is so batshit crazy. Was the car bike chase at the end and the whole like thing at the lake. Because here's the thing, I mean, if I'm really talking about my standout scene, it was the fucking car scene with Jacob Elordi and Ana de Armas. But I mean, for like actual discussion purposes, this scene was so utterly ridiculous. Because first of all, I'm like, you could have made up a way better lie in the water. You could have been like, oh, I'm trying to like spearfish. And like, that's why you have a stick. That would explain it. And say like, you're just trying to spearfish. Maybe I've watched too much Survivor and know that that's like just a thing that people do. But I'm like, that's what you should have said. And Don would have been like, okay, whatever. See ya. And then when he realizes that he sees the hand float up, it's like you could, like the Don dude, I'm like, you could have totally played that off better than just like sprinting away. And you are literally in a car. This man is on a mountain bike. And I'm like, you're just such a dweeb, like yelling out at him. I'm like, you're driving away. He cannot hear you. Pay attention to the road. There is no way that he is going to outbike you because you're once again in a car and he's on a bike. Like if he would have just focused on his task, he would have been just fine. If he would have not been like, oh, let me text so-and-so on the way. It's like, you didn't need to do that. You could have gotten out of the woods, gotten on your way and called wherever once you were like settled and on a normal road. Like you did this to yourself. So I'm not even mad that your car ran off the road because this was all your problem. But truly this scene was my standout because it was just so like utterly ridiculous. And like as I was watching it, I was actively being like, this man is just so fucking stupid.
He is stupid, and only a man would do that too and be like, I was right, and like screaming out like, fuck you, you psychopath, and all this stuff. It's like priorities, bro. But men prioritize their ego over anything. So it's like, all right, then you're gonna drive off a cliff. You let this dude on a fucking bike beat your ass. And for what? Don, you're the worst.
And also I did look up again, so how the book actually went, not maps, pulling back on my Safari. Melinda and Don like actually set up a plan Melinda set up a plan to get Vic and Don together so that they could like catch Don, you know, or that they could catch Vic. And Vic knew that then she did that and that then Don would go and call the police. So then when they got home, he actually strangles Melinda to death. Vic ends up getting led away by a policeman at the end, but it ends in her dying. So I like that she didn't die. in the end of this.
Yeah, me too.
I liked the ending. The daughter's fucking creepy. The daughter's gonna be a killer too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. I liked that she, decided to cover his tracks, I thought it was interesting. I liked the ending. I thought the ending was actually like pretty satisfying in that sense. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Sorry to like divert from standout scene, but I thought the ending was interesting because it like reflected obviously the beginning. Again, I would have liked it to be a little bit more like, wow, these are two completely different. Like my perception of these two people is so different than when we first saw this scene. But it really wasn't. And maybe that's kind of what it was trying to prove. And I think it's just like, or trying to show. And it's just, yeah, it's cool that she's like, I saw so-and-so. And, she's kind of saying like, I saw him, like, I can attest that he was alive and you didn't kill him, even though you did. And I know you did. I love you. And you're the only man that doesn't leave me. And that might be because you kill every other man in my life. But
that's true.
I love you and you love me. This is less of like a scene, more of a sequence, like a small moment. I really liked when Ben Affleck's character Vic was driving around and he saw Charlie, Jacob Elordi's character, walking with the flowers, and then later on we saw the flowers like sitting on the table. I thought that was very like interesting detail to show that like it's happening again, the same thing like with her and the original guy that passed away, and then Joel, and then it's happening again. And I think both of these people just want the other person to want them without them having to like try or really do anything. I have a question for you. What are your thoughts about the Snails?
What the fuck was that? Really, what the fuck was that? I don't understand what the whole purpose was. And then I feel like we were supposed to like get some sort of message when Ben Affleck is driving super crazy with the one dude from Unbroken in the car, the one like high school friend or college friend or whatever, when then the whole bucket of the shells like tipped out in the back seat. I was like, is this supposed to tell us something? The fact that he has like all of these shells and like that he's eating them? I don't know what we're supposed to get from that. And it was just weird. Like, I didn't if it was like a metaphor or something, like it went completely over my head.
Yeah, I thought that there might be something to do with the fact that like what he says about you can't eat snails unless you starve them because otherwise you'll get poisoned. So it's like you have to starve your partner in order to like get what you want from them. Otherwise they kill you. Like not actually starve like with food, but like affection maybe. Love. That's literally the only thing I can like sort of draw a comparison to. Maybe there's something super obvious and there's probably some like critical article out there about it. I just don't care enough to like read that. And these thoughts on the podcast are our own like raw thoughts, so I wouldn't want to like paraphrase someone else's thoughts or like theories or anything. I agree with you about the kid too. Creepy as fuck. I thought at the beginning when he said you're gonna drive your mom crazy because she's playing Old MacDonald over and over again. A, that would drive me crazy too, and I would bitch slap a kid. B, when she's like, I know, I feel like the dad and the daughter are in cahoots because she also like pushed the suitcase into the water. And I think she just is really a daddy's girl, and she's also going to be a killer too. And she's too smart for her own good. I thought it was going to be like she does drive the mom crazy, or like their lives, like their domestic life like drives her crazy. Because like they're both retired, they both stay home and work, like don't work. They have all these parties. Like I would probably go insane too.
I would too. And I thought that like the mom was like gearing up to be more like absentee or like really just not invested in her daughter or her life. And I don't think she's like she's not like the golden standard of mothers, but like even at the soccer game, like she was like actively involved in the game, even if she was like yelling at the refs and being like, this is bullshit. But still, at least it showed that she like actually cared in that moment, where if maybe she would have been like on her phone or off like flirting with men, it would have shown like she really doesn't give a fuck about the daughter. So I thought their like whole relationship was just weird.
And then she's also like on the phone with that guy and like, oh, Madrid, like she would love that. And so it's literally like she's talking about running away with, like, her child from Vic. So then he resorts to, like, killing these men. And it's just kind of like he is killing or, like, scaring these men away instead of, like, resolving the issue. It's just like, do the work to resolve the issue. Leave your snails alone and go fix your marriage.
Yeah.
Because also, like, what, are you busy? Like, you don't really have a whole lot going on. You could definitely afford marriage counseling. You could definitely afford, like, a sex therapist. Yeah. Which I don't even think you need a sex therapist because you guys look like you had pretty decent sex. I don't know.
I think they need they need, like, a regular therapist. They need, like, communication help. And then, you know what I really did? There were just, like, a few random things in this movie that just, like, didn't really make sense of, like, why they were included. Like, one, why did they get a dog? Like, once they got the dog, I immediately looked up if the dog died or not, because I felt like the only reason that we're getting this dog is because it's going to end in some sort of tragedy, and that's gonna, like, do something to them. Yeah. And thank God the dog made it out alive. I was not in the mental state to have anything happen to the dog. But it was kind of like, okay, so, like, why? Why did we get the dog? And even, like, Don's character, like, obviously, yes, he turned out to be, like, a foil for things. But in the end, he didn't really end up having that much of an impact on anything. Like, their marriage, like, her discovering that was because him killing the dude was just because that's what he does, and her deciding to stay with him had nothing to do with Don. Like, she knew. It's not like Don called her and was like, hey, your husband's a killer. I don't know, there were just some things that it was kind of like, I don't really know what the point was. Kind of like the snails. What was the point of that?
And she went from, like, hitting him and being so angry at him and, like, you killed him and all this stuff, to then just being like, well, it is what it is, and my daughter doesn't want to run away, so we're not going to. Like, what? Yeah. She dumped my suitcase in the pool, so I guess that plan is canceled.
And she was so quick in front of the cops to be like, you did something, which surprised me that she did it in front of everyone there, because one, I'm like, I don't actually think you care about this dude enough for this, like, like, I kind of feel like part of her character was the fact that she, like, loves everyone, but at the same time loves no one more than herself.
We're recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But that she was never going to, like, pick someone else above herself, and it was very much about, like, short-term gratification. So the fact that then she, like, had this big outburst, I was kind of like, what? It seemed like a little out of character. And then to, like, accuse her husband in front of everyone. I could see her, like, later on in the bedroom, her, like, trying to manipulate him more with that accusation rather than just, like, up front. Did that seem weird to you, too?
I just didn't really know where it was going, and, like, it didn't seem out of character for me because she's, like, openly flirting with other men and, like, being all over other men in front of all their friends. And so for her to have this, like, big to-do in front of all their friends, it kind of felt on brand, but it's definitely, like, a very serious accusation. It's higher stakes than, like,
cheating,
flirting with other men. Yeah. But also, I don't know, she talks a lot about, like, being bored, and she's just like, you would be bored if you were with any other women, or another woman. If you were with other people, if you were with another woman besides me, you'd be so bored. And it's like, you're bored. And also, would he be bored? Because he gets enjoyment out of snails. So, like, I don't think the man needs a whole lot.
Yeah. They seem just like such an... Like, how did they get together? I would like to actually see how they found each other and them falling in love. Because it's hard to believe that these two ever really, really loved each other. One thing, the pool scene, like, with Jacob Elordi when they're trying to haul his body out of the water, all I could think about was them filming the head smack on the side of the pool. Because that looked so fucking real. And it looked like it hurt. Real. And obviously, like, I know they didn't smack his head against the side of the pavement. But I'm like, that looked so realistic. It was kind of like, remember in The Theory of Everything, in that movie, the head smack on the ground too, that was like, I'm like, I swear to God, they just made him fall, and like someone literally slapped his head against the pavement because it looked so realistic.
That was a damn hard fall, and like dead weight, and he's such a large human being. And then when they were like, Don dropped him, they were like, he was already dead. And he was like, it didn't help. It's like, this is literally a police investigation, and you people are they're all like high, and the guy's like, I have a medical marijuana card. It's like, Bro, a person is dead. You're not gonna be, like, in trouble for smoking.
And once again, the cops are utterly useless. Like, what did they accomplish?
Yeah. Also, there's literally a pattern here, and these people are so blind. Every guy that gets close to this woman either dies or, like, is like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, the friends all must be really, really dumb. Or they just don't care because they're on his side.
That's kind of like a bros thing. But, like, I don't get why Melinda, like, she wants so badly to be loved. And she's like, you're the only man that doesn't leave me. But he drives every man away from her, every other man away from her, or kills them. And then he doesn't, like, give her the affection she's looking for. So if I'm her, grab the damn suitcase out of the pool and go. Like, it's okay. It looks like a waterproof suitcase.
You can just pack other clothes. Or wait until he's down with his snails. Throw him in the dryer. Run at a later date when he's downstairs with his snails.
Leave the kid. I mean, the kid, I think, is gonna grow up and kill you either way, so just leave the kid.
I think the kid has a, 85% chance of killing the mom.
Yeah. She definitely has psychopathic tendencies.
First thing I noticed, though, when I clicked on it, again, a 2.5 hour long movie. It did not need to be 2.5 hours. It could have very easily been 2, or maybe even, an hour 45. No reason did it have to be 2.5 hours. And lastly, those hands, the hand double for Jacob Elordi on the piano, because I'm assuming it's his hand double, because those hands look to be about 30 years older than Jacob Elordi. Those looked like some old people hands. And I was like, really? You couldn't find any young pianists to be this hand double for that? But I did love watching him play the piano.
That's always how it is, though. Remember in Camp Rock? When it's an old man's hand sliding across the keyboard.
Also, this, you know what I was thinking about too, the other thing, is that this movie must have been filmed so long ago for this to just come out, because Ana de Armas and Ben Affleck started dating, and they were all over. Do you remember? And it was oh, they're co-stars, and they met on the set of their new movie, whatever, and that was pre-pandemic, I want to say.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Oh, sorry. I did have one other quick thing that I just wanted to touch on. So you know how, there's that dude from the Titanic, the, villain from the Titanic, who, that's all he can be known for is that being, the asshole from the Titanic, and, it's really hard to break out of that. I'm kind of worried for Jacob Elordi, because even as much as I love him in this, I was looking, I think, for sinister motives from him, even in a character that is, just a pure side character that has no sinister motives, but I look for that. And even in the way that he holds himself, the way he holds the tension, his jaw, I'm just looking for him to be manipulative, and all because of Nate Jacobs. And I want to get your thoughts on how you think his portrayal of Nate Jacobs is going to affect him going forward.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think he's a good enough actor where it hopefully won't affect him that much, and it'll take the right role, and maybe a leading man role as a lovable character. But I'm with you. I was also expecting something sinister to happen with him, and I said, Shelby and I thought that it was going to be this couple is kind of evil, but he's crazier and a killer murderer. He's the original villain. He's the one who killed the friend, Melinda's friend, So I was looking for that. I was expecting that just because Jacob Elordi is who he is. I agree. I hope that doesn't happen for him. But also I feel he thrives in psychological thriller type stuff. And I wouldn't be mad if he leans into that more. I said during our Euphoria episodes, I really would love to see him and Sydney Sweeney in a psychological thriller together.
Yeah, I definitely don't think again, I could easily be proven wrong, but I really don't think that he's going to be a rom-com comedic action-y kind of star. I think he's going to be in those darker pieces, and if he is in an action-y type thing, that it's gonna be one I've never seen John Wick, but what I could imagine a darker role like that, a darker killer action role rather than a Marvel superhero type kind of kitschy action role. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to be that kind of actor. I really hope that he stays more in the lane of dramas, darker, psychological pieces, because I think that that's where he just has that look for it. You know, obviously he has like leading man looks because he's extremely attractive. I think just like the way that he carries himself leans very much more towards the mysterious kind of vibes.
He's very brooding. I could see him in something kind of like Taken.
Yeah, that's what great example.
I think he would thrive in that. Like a dark character, but morally gray, but more on the side of good.
Yes, 1,000%. You know how you said that you want to see Sydney Sweeney in him? I want to see him and Zendaya in something different, because we severely missed out on him and Zendaya in Euphoria season 2. That was one of my things that I wanted in season 2 after the 8th episode of the first season. Their conversation was so dynamic for that like little itty bitty part that we got of the two of them that I'm like, I want to see more. And they like never interacted in the second season at all. And I want to see the two of them in something. I don't know if we will after like them breaking up or whatever. Like who knows if there's like bad blood there or anything. But I would love to see them in something together. So.
Yeah, same. I honestly, thinking about it, like all the characters from Euphoria, I long to see them interact. Like I would love to see Rue and Kat interact more. I would love to see Kat and Nate interact more. I would love to see Fez and Maddie interact. Like certain people who just never have conversations, because I guess they're not like this big friend group, but they're all characters that we love, and there's so much like opportunity for that. The potential, you have so much potential and such a huge audience. Like do something with it, you fuck.
I would even like to see Ethan and Nate interact for a scene. Yeah. Like, I think that would be interesting.
Like a forced proximity scene where they're, like, awkwardly in a room together after, like, Nate saw Ethan, like, play him in the play. Like, that would be so good.
Katie, when I tell you that I think we sometimes are so fucking genius, this is one of those moments. This is one of those moments where Katie and I say we either think that we are at a godlike level or that we are bottom of the barrel trash scum, but this is a moment where truly, Katie, I feel like we could just do, like, our brains are so powerful together.
I agree.
That's it for today, and yeah, we will be back next week with a Drunk Disney episode, and then we will be kicking off our Game of Thrones rewatch that we will be doing over the next 4-ish months now until August when the new show premieres. So yeah, and got a few new movie release dates set for in the fall, so exciting stuff to come up here.
Well, peace, friends and family.
Fucking Lilas.
Lilas.